everybody. I hope you're all doing great. It's nice to be back on my mat with you guys. I wanted to invite everybody out there just to check in and say hi. So in the comments, as we start to loosen up, I will try to read from here. I have my spectacles just in case. Let's go back just a bit. All right. So can you hear me, Jessie? Hi. I don't have any music on because they they want royalties. So it's been kind of quiet when we video. So if you are at home and you want a little background music, turn it on. So earlier I shared a little snippet from Dr. Julie. If you've practiced with me for years, I quote her all the time. She was a physician here in town many years ago that I learned a lot from. She went from a regular medical practice into naturopath, holistic style medicine. And one of the things that she talks about is self-care. And boy, you know, we've been trying to get self-care in our little yoga studio, which a lot have embraced. Yay. But we have to continue, and it is really high. Hi, Lori. It's hard to be that disciplined. Oh gosh, me, definitely. Last week was a tough one for me. And you know what? Next week or today is going to be a whole different thing. So that's one of the things we learn to respect about yoga, is that every day it's a host of surprises. Sometimes it's a physical part of the practice. Sometimes it's the control of keeping sane. I don't feel claustrophobic. That's just not my thing. I love being at home. So this is sanctuary to me, just like Tula. As soon as I go in those doors, the rest of the world just is closed off. So try to find that space. If it's at home, in your head is a great place to start clearing out the cobwebs. I had somebody talk about stress headaches. So we're going to start off with a little breathing, and then we're going to dive right into what brings on stress headaches and how to relieve them. It's releasing some of the tension right here. That's all. Our face and our neck and our shoulders. Most of us will experience the tense from pectorals out of balance with our shoulder girdle. Definitely me. Our whole world is here. So let's get some breathing in. Let's get started. So again, everybody, welcome aboard. And sitting wherever you're at, you do not have to have stretchy pants on. If you get your jammies on, there you go. If you have jeans on, just remember when you fold forward, it's real important that you don't see stars. There's quite a major thoroughfare right down the center of your being, and it needs to have flow. So whatever, be respectful. And when you fold over, that's important. High blood pressure people, even if you're on medication, realize when you drop your head below your heart, there are some things that can happen. People with low blood pressure, boy, it's really hard for them to shift from the floor to standing up, like in high lunge. So let's get started, like I said earlier. All right, roll the shoulders back. Just find wherever you're at, sitting nice and comfortable. Take that deep breath in, and you're pulling it in through those nostrils. You are making the lobes expand. You want to feel your belly distend. I mean, for years, women my age especially, pull it in, keep it flat. Don't let anybody see that you have muscle control, not only in, but releasing out. We want those, it's a whole stack of stuff in there. You need to learn how to release it from the inside out, outside in. So take that breath in. As you exhale, keep those lips together and right through those nostrils. If you can hear it, that's great. Hi, Jessie. So In classes, it's not necessary to make that noise clear across the room, but if you can hear it, I'm usually a little more dramatic just for teaching effect. So take a few of those deep, orb-filling, rib-expanding breaths. Hi, Helen. Nice to see you. Welcome aboard. We're just taking some nice breath in. Exhale out. Let the pause be a true pause between inhale and exhale. Making sure that you feel some tightness so that the spine is being held strong while we're seated wherever you're at. Make sure that you're on the front edge of those sits bones. So your tailbone, although it's not going to, but you want to feel like it's kind of pressing toward the back of the chair or the floor behind you. So you're tipping the pelvis forward from the hip bones. Now you're going to take those shoulders and wherever you are, pull them down right along those side seams. The next breath, as you pull in, pull the rib cage in underneath you. So all of a sudden you're starting to feel all kinds of those muscles we talked about, stretching from the inside out, contracting around the rib cage. They should always feel this way. I know that as a teacher, it's do as I say. I try to do what I preach. All right, so letting go of the tension in your hips. If you need to have support under your knees, if they're on the floor and you're in a chair, make sure that the hips and the knees are in alignment, not only straight out from the knees, but that the knees and ankles are stacked. All right, so we're going to start off with a massage of the face. If you have makeup on, wow, that's awesome. All right, Girl Scouts, this is the symbol you're going to start off with. The middle finger is going to go right to the center, which is referred to as the third eye. Then you're going to push gently in and you're going to find little circles. And of course you have to unwind it. With your eyes closed, just start to feel that push of those eyebrow expression forehead muscles release. I have, again, for stress, furrowed brow. So we want to smooth it out. All right, so as we press each direction. All right, so from here, all your little fingers, thumbs are not a part of this. So you're going to start somewhere above the eyebrow. And those fingertips, like you're playing a piano or typing. All right, now you're just going to push into the tissue above the eyebrow. Take that breath in. Now, as if you're playing the piano or typing, just strum up and down the forehead. Some people, you'll notice you can find nerves in your forehead and you'll spurn little twitches in your nose. That's good. I mean, there's nerves all over us and they don't always necessarily are affected at the place of touch. You know, if you have a back injury and you're having a gait issue, more often than not, it's the top end of the spine, not the bottom end. All right, keep tapping. All right, as we settle those fingers down back to where they were above the eyebrows. Now we're going to bring the thumbs into play and you're going to run it right where, open your jaw, and there's a gap. If you have TMJ, you're not going to probably open very wide, but it's important that you get that gentle pressure right into the jaw. Just open slightly and then begin to relax the jaw as you press inward. And again, you can do circles. Oh, circles, just like you're kneading bread. It's hard to do that and talk. Hi, Keisha. Welcome aboard. All right, so from here, we've got this right around underneath. When you go into the doctor and they tap on those sinuses, you're going to do that. Just tap, 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 tap. You can tell my allergies are flaring up. Back to that, I've got a little nerve in my nose. All right, so tapping is very old, very wonderful. All right, settling those hands down. The space right under your nose. Again, back to Girl Scouts, just tap. Maybe this will make our lips plump up. Just underneath the lips in that crevice. We're not going to do the whole tapping sequence. We just want to find some release. And if you notice, maybe you're starting to feel that face is, gosh, ooh, that does feel invigorating. All right, so now you're going to go to the spot right underneath your ears where your jaw meets. And you're going to find that space. And again, gentle push in, just that ever slight. Breathe in. You could do circles. I don't have a lot of space for circles there. Now, I'm going to push down the side of my neck into those muscles. Because that feels so good, I'm going to do it again. Find that space. And then I'm going to fall right down underneath where the hinge, where my jaw shape, and down the neck. All right, relax your arms. All right, so this is not particularly attractive. It's kind of like chin lock. You just open the throat up, but it's not very flattering. This is where you're going to jettison that jaw forward. And again, be very careful. Like you're going to find your underbite. So what you're going to notice, oh gosh, when you're a little kid, you dig those jaws out and lift. And you know when the best thing for our face is kissing. It's wasted on the youth. I'm sorry. Maybe not. To you all. All right, so now we've got the front piece of our face, the side of our neck, the back of your neck. So this is kind of tricky. So you're going to find, I'm going to shift to the side, where you lace your fingers. And you're going to just cradle the back of your head and draw the chin into lock. My thumbs are right down those muscles that I just released. Now, as I cradle my head, I'm just holding it. I am going to slightly lift upward. You are not trying to lift yourself out of the chair. You're just finding length to the cervical spine. And you tip back slightly, and then you just find that lift. And you press into the hands and the hands into the neck, and you're going to feel a nice ease of contraction. Exhale and let the arms melt all the way down. All right, so from here, I'm going to tip to the side. I'm going to start to bring more movement. Maybe you're starting to feel some release. I know my face is kind of zooming around. Ooh, that feels so good. And then bring it to center. This time, tip to the other side. Range of motion, boy. It's just going to be what it is. Do not push. Just let the breath release. All right, from here, your range of motion again. You're going to let your ear follow this semicircle through the front and around to the other side. We don't go to the back. We don't want to eat up vertebrae. There'll be one that just right over the top. So we just want to use our muscles to release into the neck. Maybe you're going to notice all the way down to the center of your spine as you find that chin releasing forward and back. One more pass each side. All right, I'm going to finish up. I'm going to keep my ear reaching over the top of my shoulder right here. Now, the opposite shoulder, I'm going to push away gently. Take that deep breath in, exhale, and release. Take the shoulder, let it relax, roll it to the other side. Same thing right here. Find the side, reach through the heel of the hand or the fingertips, and find the side of the neck. Hi, Nick. How are you? Nice to see you. Well, you're this big. If you have any special requests of an area besides our stress headache release, let me know. Type it in, and maybe before we get too far ahead, I'll see it as we go. All right, bring that nose right back into center. Take the breath, and you're going to swim your hands forward, turn, and push back. Now, remember, if you're in a chair, maybe dining room chair, or if you're overstuffed chair, you need to be on the very edge. And you're just going to find that space. They may not reach behind your back. Thumbs are down, palms are toward each other. Reach those fingertips away from the shoulders. Draw the chin and lock. Big, deep breath. Letting the arms rest and come onto your knees, or your hands will rest on your knees. I've got to move my little tray here. I don't want to set my hair on fire. All right, so we're going to still stay in our seated pose. Remember, it's whatever, wherever you're at, chair, couch, hopefully not laying on the couch. All right, so from here, working our way down the spine, my shoulders are starting to feel some forgiveness. All right, so I'm going to reach my hand forward. Notice that it is in the center of my being. So right out from my solar plexus. My thumb is in line with my solar plexus. I'm going to go ahead and find the space between my shoulder and my elbow. You can bend your elbow, it's whatever, but you're not trying to split the shoulder blade away from your body. Keep that shoulder blade or shoulder arm in its socket. Tip the head away, and then this should get into those muscles in the shoulder girdle, not the joint. Those muscles or those tendons and ligaments, they don't stretch. We want to get to the muscles. Slide the arm right by your ear. Take your hand again. Try not to hold the joint. Push. Finding this is armpit. There's muscles in there. The serratus is led all the way down your rib cage. This get nice, I want to say trapezius. It's the other side of your arm, sorry. All right, straight up, thumb to the back. Shoulder stay square. Shift the shoulder or arm back and just hold. You notice I'm kind of far away. I'm trying not to, I don't want my arm up against my ear. I want to find the muscles. All right, so the other side. Thumb, hand down, open up. Shoulders are square. Since Nick's here, I won't talk about stuff that gets in the way. Well, maybe later. Okay. All right, so now up over. Elbows is over the top of that shoulder. It can be out a little bit. Try not to flare it. And then again, gentle. And then I'm going to extend my arm straight up. Try to find space. Now, I have bend in my elbow. I'm going to shift my arm back. Go ahead and bring the other arm up. Let those hands sink to heart center and find a nice crisp seal. There is space between my heart and my hands. My elbows are even with each other, pretty much. So I have gentle pressure right here. Sitting up, I'm going to shift right over the top of my spine. Hands stay, heart center. When I stop, I can look over my shoulder. Then I'm just going to let my hands float down. Making sure that there's space between the teeth. Do not grit your teeth. We just worked on loosening all that up. Bring those hands back. Shift to center. Back to that strong seated pose. Full breath in, exhale, finding that first rotation. This is my first big movement. Over my hips. Then I'm going to let my arms reach out. And then I may shift my chin. I'm looking over my shoulder. In some practices in my classes, I have you close your eyes and look in the space behind your ear. So you can even bring those eyes. So if we have eye tension, this is a great way to engage. Exhale and bring it back to center. All right, so if you are on the floor or in your chair, I'm going to shift from my crisscross applesauce to legs straight ahead. If you're in a chair, again, you make sure those knees and hips are in alignment, ankles straight down, and you're on the edge of your chair. So I'm going to get off my cushion. I may even scoot back so you might see a little bit more. All right. If you can't hear me, let me know. All right, a little bit more. All right, so from here, I'm in this seated staff. My hands are on my thighs. I can push on my thighs. My calves are pressing in. I'm feeling super tall, shoulders away from my ears. If you can bring your hands to the floor, some of us might have a challenge from length of arm. It is what it is. Now I'm going to start to shift forward just a bit, just to see where my hamstrings are feeling. I've been gardening, so they're super tight. Go ahead and find that staff again. Sitting up nice and tall. Pushing through the prop helps engage the shoulder girdle through the pectorals. Chin and lock. I can feel everything around my rib cage stand at attention. All right, with a big inhale, up. Now I'm going to hinge forward. The only thing is moving is my hinge at my hips. I'm reaching through my chest without rounding out. So if I shift, shoulders are back, arms are up. I am flattening only as far as my flattening will go. If I start to hinge, my shoulders forward, collapsing, come back briefly. Hold the breath here. Hands come to the mat. This is so important. As my belly rolls inward, I can support my lower back. Then the rest of my spine will roll in the way it is meant to move. Go ahead, climbing up. Reach up with the breath. Reaching forward. Lot going on. Go nice and slow. You can pause wherever you need to. When you feel like you're done, hands come down and you reach and roll each vertebrae just like you're coming into that cat-like stretch. All right, climb yourself up. Use the support when you can. Let's find half a butterfly. Or if you were standing, it would be tree. So draw your foot in where you're comfortable and both cheeks are on the floor. Hang in there. Hi, Nissa. All right. So from here, we're going to work on releasing some of the tension in your hip. So I have this leg is active. My quads are lifting off the bone. My calf and foot. I hardly ever point my foot in a yoga class because I want my foot to get yoga, but when it's in flex, all the muscles into the hip start to activate. So I feel balance from front to back, side to side. All right, so from here I'm released. I'm pushing it. I'm not physically pushing it toward the floor. One side works better than the other for me. All right, shift it. Now I'm gonna hold myself up. I'm gonna lift my leg, turn it out. Toes up, toes down. Now if, ooh, I'm gonna cramp. So if you cannot lift your leg off the floor, roll that leg in the joint. So knee, toes work together. You're gonna feel that hip and then toes up. And down. There's a slight push of my leg into the foot. You can shift it out if you want. Don't go too far because we want to activate the structure of the hip. All right, from here the other side. Legs straight up. Go ahead and find where you're comfortable. Both cheeks on the floor. Try to have hip and knee in alignment. My toes are up. Push the calf into the floor. I'm a little tight here. Okay, not as much range of motion for me. Release. Push that. Open the hips up. The pelvic area is widening and release. Widen and release. Widen. All right, one more for good measure. So if we were on our back or seated in butterfly, we'd have both legs working together. And then go ahead, lift out and in, or just roll. I might be a little low on my water this morning. And my coffee. All right, so roll it out, bring it back. Roll it out, bring it back. Out. Gardening. All right, now as I get ready, I'm gonna find that full butterfly. Now, shimmy, shake it around. All right, shoulders away. I am finding my front edge of my sits bones. Right about here. Shoulders back. Space between my ears. And if your legs meet the floor, oh, bless you. Me, not yet. All right. Cat-like stretch. Shoulders are back. Belly is pulling in. I'm going to clam shut. This is more about getting the back to open up. And then roll it up. Cow-like expression. So I'm going to pull the belly in. Front edge of my sits bones. Reaching the chest, and again, wherever your cow, this may be more confining feeling than if we were on our hands and knees, which will be next. Shift to that cat. This is the roll of the belly, drawing that spine. Now I'm going to find the back and sitting up nice and tall. All right, hands and knees. From here, this is my neutral spine. Nose down, my feet vanish behind my thighs. Hopefully you can see me pretty good. It's more about where you're feeling. So I'm pushing through the floor. Elbows do not lock. I'm going to roll into that full-fledged cat-cow, yawning-like movement. One more. And this could have been, I didn't cue you in your chairs, but you can do this in your chair, hands on knees. All right, child's pose would be a little bit more difficult in your chair, but you can close your eyes and take a siesta. All right, finding that child's pose, widen the knees if you wish. You could do traditional. Working your arms out. Keep them active. We're going to start to heat up some more and more. So if your head does not meet the floor, lots of people don't. Stack those hands, bring them under your forehead. Use a block. There's lots of reasons why our head doesn't meet the floor. But if you need to be here, 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 or here. We're going to lift the forehead, nose straight down, and I'm going to bring myself to this really nice side stretch. I'm going to shift over my knee, which you can do this seated. Now I'm going to take my opposite arm, exhale into the side stretch. With your breath, bring it up. Nose down, especially if you're in your child's pose, you do not want to load in that neck. Reach that arm out. Find the stretch. Think that this little finger is reaching as far as it can to open up the whole side. And bring it back to center. All right, from this child's pose, I'm going to bring my knees underneath me. I'm going to find my kneeling plank, full plank, down dog. Now, if you're in that chair, you'll want to flip it. Pretend this is a chair. So that you are now using this right here to pedal and loosen. This would be your modified down dog. I did that a couple weeks ago. All right, so from this downward facing dog, go ahead, tippy toe in, finding forward fold. Wardrobe failure. All right. Fiddle around a little bit, listen to side a little bit, bend the knees. From here, we're going to find chair with hands at heart center. So as I shift upward and sit into chair. Maybe from here, I then take my arms out and up. Maybe I love my arms to open my chest up. Maybe I'm just going to stay here where my neck and shoulders are feeling amazing. Back to that forward fold. Exhale. Finding forward fold again. Sorry about that. Where you need support. Forward fold is not ragdoll. This is finding the strength through the floor, belly lifting the small of your back right through the sacrum. I want that lift, not collapse. Knees can always have bend. You're pushing. Finding space in the spine with support. Back to the chair pose. Circle sweep up. Arms stay in extended mountain. I need a new angle. All right, as you're standing up nice and tall here, let's swan dive down. Bend those knees. Hinging forward. Find your prop. Pressing into the floor. Forward fold. From this forward fold, we're going to find right leg to the back of the mat in your supported lunge. This supported lunge, shot straight back from mountain. Knee over ankle. I'm going to try to keep my spine straight. Try not to hunch over that lead leg. This is where you bring those props. so that you can get into the hip structure. Feeling the divide of the mat. Feel the muscles that hold to find length in the others. From here, we're going to shift back to pyramid. And I refer to this as pyramid fold because I want the torso to reach forward over that leg. This time it will be more forgiving. Hips are square. Nose is down. Like fold. From here, shift to that supported lunge again, bringing the hands up to the knee, torso in a nice bowing extension. Shift down to the floor, supported lunge to plank. Knees down if you should need them. Pressing into your plank, lift the hips, down dog. Bend both knees, just enough to feel that pressure through the mat, belly lifting, back to your down dog. Maybe you want to roll into plank, knees down, child's pose. Shifting forward, back to that down dog. Tippy toe forward, finding forward fold. Again, softness to knees. Circle sweep up. Stay at this grand salute. Reaching up, swan dive, fold forward. Controlling the descent brings strength to the body, not to fall into the joint. Stretching the left leg, find supported lunge. In supported lunge, knee over ankle. When I look back, ankle, knee, and hip, hips pressing toward the mat. The division of the mat through my feet. Again, bringing my back to flat. Try not to roll. Here's a great place if you need to have the chair. If the chair is not available, put your hands on the top of your thigh. And here we go, inhale. Whoa, I forgot what we did. Huh. Well, I got Gabby, didn't I? All right, so we're gonna move on. Oh, that's terrible. All right, back down. Find your plank. Here we go, up to down dog, pedal and loosen. All right, so from here, shifting forward, finding that reverse plank, knees down, child's pose. Did anybody tell me what I left out? Okay. Hi, Christy. All right. As you take a few breaths here in this child's pose, as I regroup, we're going to go ahead and shift into all fours again. So from here, all right. We're going to activate the core. So we're back to pushing through the mat. Fingertips forward. You draw your fingers toward each other. Now, as I look behind my legs, remember, I want no lower foot. It's all stacked up as if I were standing a mountain. Shifting to take this leg straight back, not up, straight back. When I take it straight back, it's a little heavier. Keep that foot rotated, just like we practice seated. Toes down, toes and knees out. Feel the leg bone in the hip. My cheeks flex a little bit. Maybe if I'm feeling super athletic and my shoulders are fired up and ready to go, I take the opposite arm off the mat. If you're struggling, check to see if it's your opposite arm. So often the same arm goes, and that is very athletic. Takes a lot of core and stability. You're welcome to try it that way. This is super, whatever. Bring it underneath you. Squaring it up. Shift to the other side for you. All right, lifting. Shoulders are back. Push through the floor. Lift, rotate. As you rotate, the whole hip structure is holding that leg in the long lever. Toes down or pointed. Your move doesn't get into the glutes. Running the arm out. Shoulders are even. Oftentimes there's a kind of a collapse. Push through the floor. Reaching straight out, straight out. Go ahead, bring it underneath you. Shift it back. Take that quick breath. Back to all fours. All right, now I'm going to go back to the right leg, extending it back. Right arm if you wish. Now, I'm going to lift arm and leg together or hold. And it is a pulse. Just up, up, up. You're getting into the deltoids and the glutes and some quads here, just to fire it up. Bring it underneath you. Squaring it up the other side. Run that leg out, turn it out, and lift. Hips are even. Leg is parallel to the floor. Here we go. Shoulders are even and pulse. 1, 2. Exhale underneath you. Shift it back to your plank. Down dog. Tippy toe forward. Some people hop. Some do a big sweep. It's all just getting those hands and feet underneath you. Inhale. All the way up. Hands, heart, center. From here, you're going to bring your heels to the inside of your mat. Toes might fall off the mat. Since you are pushing through your heels, the toes really just are kind of hanging out there. Now, as I sink, hands at heart center, my shoulders are over my hips. Refrain from here. We want to open up the hips. So as I took this underneath me, I kind of got a little extra bulb there. Toes and knees are even. As I check, I peek. My knees are right over the center of my foot. Now, I'm going to find my breath, hands at heart center, and I'm going to take my time here in this goddess pose. My gardening muscles. Take that belly, make sure you keep the pelvic tipped underneath, shoulders over hips. Sweep the arms up, push to the floor, 5-point star. Here we go, hands to heart center. Shift through the mat. Keep everything stacked. I'm going to fiddle a little bit with my toes so that as I sink, shoulders back, hands are nicely. I'm starting to feel my legs shake because I'm pushing them open with all my might. And keep that tail tucked. You're going to notice when you tuck your tail, you feel the seat muscles lift you. That is a network through your hip structure that holds you. When you're in these big lunges, if this isn't healthy enough, sparking all of them together, they're going to struggle. Sweep in and out of this. Up to 5-point star. Exhale forward, sunflower. And up. Exhale out, down. And up. One more. All right. From here, we're going to flip. I'm going to flip. I'm going to have my right foot to the back, and I'm finding that high lunge position. So if I were in mountain, right leg straight back, I'm going to be on the ball of my foot. If you have bunions or plantar fasciitis, warrior one position, where it's turned out to the side, the knee follows it, is a happy place. Hips still are forward. All right, so sweep the arms overhead. And again, I am taking those all the muscles in this group, pulling it underneath, push the heel back, the hips will sink, shoulders in line with my side seams and up. Now I'm going to bow forward. My arms will find the side. Maybe some will take those hands behind their back, open up further. I'm going to stay here. My leg is heating up. Sweep the arms overhead. They'll meet and heart center. Feet together forward into mountain, fingertips down. I'm going to shift. Left leg back, high lunge. My stride here, when I talked about unhealthy hips, here's one. So here's the little arthritis. So maybe today I'm going to explore that warrior one. Hips are forward. When I mean forward, hip bones are forward. Now I'm going to grip my leg bone and I want to push as I press my feet apart, and then those touchdown arms. It's all evolved from that mountain. Now, take that full breath in. As you exhale, we're going to find arms opening the chest. Roll it open. Remember, if you're lacing your fingers, go ahead, lace them. Some will find prayer hands. I'm going to hold my orb. All right, here we go with our next breath. Arms shifting overhead. They'll meet and draw to heart center. Fingertips down, forward to mountain. All right, slide that left foot back into the warrior two. So as I slide it straight back of my sticky mat, toe is forward-ish, wherever my knee bends into its happy place. Straight over the ankle. Now, the back foot, it can be forward, it can be parallel, but it does not turn out to the south end of your mat. that hip bones are forward. You're opening. And when I say opening, mine kind of at a diagonal. One day I'm going to have open, happy hips. So here's that warrior two. My lower half, my stride is being supported by that network underneath my hips. The breath drawing Mula Bandha. The rest of the bandhas are going to be activated. Draw the shoulders over the hip bones and away from the ears. Pressing through the mat. We're going to shift now with our breath to extended pose. Now, you can rest here. You can bring your hand to the inside of the knee. The only thing I've done is take that warrior two and hinge open. Happy shoulder wherever your happy shoulder goes. The wider your stride, the deeper. We don't want a bump in the road. The bump is down. With your exhale, we're going to pivot that back toe to the supported lunge. Feet underneath you to fold. Take that breath and circle sweep up. Hands come to heart center because that's a great place for it. I'm going to move again. The other side. Here we go. Warrior two. Straight back for mountain. Slide the foot straight back. I'm on my toe. Then I pivot. I love the idea that mountain, open it up, is the foundation of all poses. It just has nuances. All right, happy shoulder. Divide and conquer the mat. What happens when you pull your feet together, push your feet apart? There's those hips. Either way, soften the joints, chest, shoulders are away from the ears and back into the socket. Don't reach beyond. Keep it happy. Your weeding arm is not happy. Keep it at your hip. Finding that extended pose. Hinging and reaching. Hand comes to knee. Do not lose your hip. This nice yummy line. Maybe, see, this side of the shoulder is a happy place. The deeper the pose comes from the length of the stride in your lunge. Not here. Now here's my bump. Work that leg back to find depth. Depends on where your practice is, where your body is today. Back to warrior two. Here we go. Pivot the toes forward. You're going to be in that wide angle. And again, in my classes, parallel to the edges can be really hard on knees and hips. If you're okay, then stay there. With age, mind fuss a little bit. So bring the heels in just a smidge. And you can do this in like ballet turnout. It's just what you're made for. All right. But unlike ballet, all soft joints, nothing locks out. Shoulders back. All right. You can hold the magic orb. Maybe you've laced. Prayer hands down the back or up the back. Opening up the chest. Ooh. Soften those knees. Now you're going to find that hinge forward. Just like forward fold, slow and easy. Trying to make sure that hamstrings stay healthy. There's a free fall that we do not want to get into. So maybe my hands come to prop. Prop. Chairs prop. Blocks are prop. Hands to the floor, pushing in all folds. Now
I'm in a happy place. Take the rest of it and let those elbows draw the spine to your stretch. Coming halfway up. Finding solid feet, rooted in the ground. This one I have to be particularly careful for because I will lose my hips. So I bring my hand to right above my tailbone. Was I push through the prop, working to find my archer's release, hips are solid, into this tremendous twist. Exhale and bring it down. The same thing. I will often cue hand right under your nose. Forward or back. As you start to push through, you're going to look to see where these items stack up. Take that archer's bow, elbows drawing this twist, not your hips, into reach. Everybody will be different. If that's like halfway, you're reaching those fingertips apart. That's what's opening up the chest. The belly is firmly lifting into the sacrum to get that full rotation. Solid and great. Exhale and bring it right back down. You're going to pivot to the front edge of your mat. I'm going to be right here. Bring your knee to the mat. And you're going to go ahead and shift to your seat. All right. You're going to walk yourself out of the fluff. All right, back to that seated staff. We're going to do a little bit more charging of that spine, shoulders back. I'm going to pivot again. I missed my big mat at the studio. This will work. All right, shoulders are back, side seams. Now I want to feel a little more charged up, but I always keep those arms in place. Shoulders and arms are in the socket together working. Chin and lock. I refer to this as that recliner. You hold it for as long as you're comfortable. If you start to feel yourself collapse or shake, embrace the shake, maybe a couple more breath cycles. Oftentimes it's not dire that you lift up out of it. You need to find where you're engaging. All right, so from here, take that breath in. Fire up the legs, heels pressing into the floor. I have softness in my knees. You can't see that, but there's softness. Shoulders are back, arms are tight, and here we go. Finding the length of the torso. Oh, hi Carmela. Chin and lock. Anytime that you're at a desk working and you start to feel that collapse, the strain of the upper back, shift to the front edge of your seat. Take the time, 2 or 3 times, just fire all those muscles up. Say, I gotta open my chest up. I know it all is in there. I don't want to be here at 80, 70, or 60. I'm gonna be here because I learned it in yoga. All right, here we go with our breath. Reach it up and melt it over those legs. Exhale it all up. All right, so we're gonna find ourselves on the floor. And if you are in your chair, you're going to release your quads. So you might want to stand up and do that dancer, like this. My favorite thing is to lay on the floor, knees up, feet flat. I have a neutral spine. Walk my feet out into that awkward position. Toes are lifted off the mat. I'm going to hinge my hip, push through, and I get this nice long stretch through the knee. And if I reach over my head, I can get this stretch all the way through my arm. Then the other side, just like a windshield wiper, but keep those toes off the mat. Engage the hip forward, pressing through that heel. Now I'm on the outside of it. Reaching overhead, take that breath. Shoulders still stay sinking into the floor. Now, if you wish, you could go a little bit quicker. Some people, this is how they get their rust to work away. Back and forth. All right, before we are completely done. Now we have worked our hips really well. We have one more, one of my favorite ways to find eagle. So I'm going to find that pigeon first. So I'm square from my bridge position. I'm not going to lift. Leg up, cross over, foot's in flex, knee is out. I'm going to let my thighs squeeze together, together and together. I might get that foot underneath the other, but my knees stay over my hips. If you don't feel your core far up here, then you're too far in. This is working the synovial sacs, both sides of your hip. So you need to push those thighs together. If this is unavailable, grab a hold of the strap, your belt, your pants, shoulders wide, and squeeze. All right, bring the knees into your chest. Pedal and loosen. I like to rock and roll. And then here we go, the other side. Square yourself up, leg up, cross over. Open the hip up, only so that this is the opposite of what I'm gonna do. Now I'm gonna just slide heel until my thighs meet. And I can't squish them any further. Then I'm gonna lift. This side, almost got it tucked. Try to keep those knees over the hips. Support them if you have to. If you want to amp up your core work, here it is. But that squeeze is so important. So keep going, keep breathing into it. If you lace your leg underneath it and let go of that intent, you're missing the purpose of what that pose is doing for your hips. Hi, Mackenzie. All right, so from here, knees back into chest. Okay. Now, I'm going to use my legs to find myself up. This is kind of an odd thought. There's a thing called yoga butt. It's not a perky bottom, which yoga will give you, yay, but there can be a lot of tension. The glute is the biggest muscle in your body, and compression and massage, an amazing attribute to the body when it gets tight and knotted, not necessarily more stretching. So I often refer to myself as a tight ass, and that's not in a good way. But if I shift side to side and I do a little pedal right across the roundest part of your seat, you will feel the belly of that glute flatten out. If you have a rock in there, you need to do this more often. So just shift side to side a few times. Oh, this is great. All right. So that's kind of my gardening. Not so much painting. We did the beginning of class. Hopefully you still feel the glow and release through the neck. Oh, mine feels great. So that's kind of a smidge of that particular piece. All of yoga is detoxifying. All of yoga is bringing awareness to your body. It's bringing that connection of breath to your movement, having the respect to push everything out, giving yourself this time to decompress. It's hard as a teacher because I'm just so it's hard when I can't see body language. So it kind of goes into overdrive. So the rest of the class, we will do a little nidra. So this would be a nice meditative guide that I will lead you through. So you can lay down on your back, knees up if you have any back tension. You can do this seated, lean back and relax with eyes closed. Feel the breath come in through the nostrils. Notice it's cool. Drawing the next breath in, notice that the exhale is warm. The furnace of your body breaking down and detoxifying your lungs. How simple is that? That next breath, draw deep. Feel the belly lift, full expansion of the ribs. As you exhale, let your body slump. Feel the last bit being pushed out as you draw your belly to the back of your spine. If you're on your back, pull it to the floor and then release. Imagine somewhere in you where stillness exists. This is anywhere in your being. Draw the breath and fill that space. As you lie here or sit, let a color come to mind. Whatever that color is, keep it. The next breath that you draw in to your place of stillness, let the breath be the color and fill the space. The next breath in, let the color push the stillness wider. The next breath that you draw in, let it fill 50% of your silhouette. The next breath that you draw in, let it fill your entire being. Imagine if your body were like a balloon and that next breath is so big that it actually pushes yourself to meet the outside edges of your mat. Well, you can tell I'm not very big. Top to bottom, side to side. Allow the breath to imagine that growth in your being, the stretch all the way out. One more time as you fill your being and that exhale, feel your body in entire stillness. Maybe you'd like to stay here a little longer and allow yourself the time to take care. I am so grateful to have you ladies come and join me, as well as Nick. Sorry about that. Join us later. We are building a library on YouTube. You can do yoga anytime with us that you'd like. So I will take one nod of a namaste. Thank you for coming. Enjoy the rest of your Shavasana.